Alright, it's fuel pump replacement time for the 2008 Mercury Mariner, which is the same as a Ford Focus or a Mazda Tribute. And I don't believe it matters which engine this has. This one's a hybrid, but I think it's the same procedure. I believe it's actually the same pump for all of them too. But here's my replacement pump. The only reason I'm changing it is because when I took it out to test it and look at it, I cracked this ring right here that goes around, and now I have a massive air leak. But honestly, it's got 290,000 miles on it almost, and the pump's getting kind of noisy, and sometimes it seems like it's not working right. So we're going to go ahead and replace this pump. And it's a pretty easy job. I did this before on my son's '07 Escape, and we did a video about that. And we're going to show you how quick and easy this is. I'm not going to replace just the pump, I'm replacing the whole module assembly, but you can disassemble it and replace just the electric pump part if you want. And those can be had for about under $15 if you shop around on the internet. I got this one for $65 on the internet, brand new. A little bit better than average price because someone privately was selling it. They bought it and didn't need it. So you might expect to pay closer to $80 to $100 for a generic fuel pump online, and as much as $200 for or even a little more for a Motorcraft brand one. But these escapes are super easy to do. You open up the back door. I open the side window over there to give us some ventilation for when we start getting fuel fumes. Then we're going to flip the seat forward, which is really easy to do when you have two hands. I'm not so sure when you only have one hand, but you pull up on the front, and then you pull up on the back like this and flip it forward like that. Get all your garbage out of the way here so you don't miss it. And if you look carefully, there's a little flap right here that pulls back this way. And then we've got a floor access panel here. This is so handy and convenient. I love cars to have floor panels to get to the fuel pump. 4 Phillips head screws here that we're going to remove. Step, we pick up the plate here and work it back out of the way. We can actually press this grommet out of the way. That'll give us more room to work if we push that rubber grommet right on through like that. There we go. And then we can take this and get it a little bit better out of the way. Alright, now since this has been running, there's bound to be some pressure, or there's possibility anyway there's some pressure. I haven't ran it for about 12 hours. There may or may not be any pressure left in the tank. But what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the lead for the fuel pump, which is this one here, by pushing down on a little tab on the outside edge here, and then the whole thing will come apart. And then we're going to push down on this tab right here to disconnect this evaporator valve here. And then once we get that done, we'll relieve the pressure by starting it up and letting it run until it stalls. Now you can see the lines are off. There's no more power going to the fuel pump. So now we'll give it a quick start, and that'll relieve the pressure. These quick connects on the fuel lines are super easy to remove. There's no tools required. There's little tabs that stick down on the bottom on both sides. And all you got to do is push those inward a little bit on the bottom and lift up a little, and then the whole colored piece, you grab that, pull it out as far as you can, and the line slides right off. Incredibly easy. Really nice design. Next is the retainer lock ring here. It's got little tabs on it. You can put like a screwdriver or something on that and use a hammer and tap it so it's turning in a counterclockwise direction. It only takes about a quarter turn and the ring will pop up and off. Here's the ring. We're going to clean that up a little bit, put some grease on it when we put it back in so it installs nice and smooth and straight. And now the fuel pump is right here, and it should be able to, most of them you should be able to grab them carefully and work them out without too much trouble. Sometimes you got to get a little screwdriver or pry tool around the edges and gently pry up. And that's where I made my mistake when I was pulling this out last time. I cracked it right down there where my finger is. I took a little chunk out of it, and now it's not having a tight seal. And I'm getting an error message saying that I have a major evaporative leak. And along with that, like I say, the fuel pump itself has been getting noisy, so time to change it. Alright, like I say, since it's already been out and it's already broken, we're just going to yank it right on out. Not worry about it too much. And when you pull it out, your float for your fuel level is going to be sticking toward the front of the car. And there's also going to be a pickup sock on it that I think comes out this way toward the driver's side, which that'll bend and flex down out of the way when you pull it out. The fuel level arm won't bend and flex. You have to carefully lift this out slowly, because while you're lifting it out, there's going to be some fuel stuck in it. And you don't want to splash that all over the interior of your car, so you want to lift it up above the level of the fuel in the tank and let it drain, and then angle it a little so that you can get that arm out and carefully get it out of your car before any fuel drips. And I'm going to have to set the phone down when I pull it out and do this, because this evap line over here needs to be held kind of inward a little bit out of the way while you're lifting it up and out with the other hand. So there's no way I can film and lift it out all in one motion. So we're going to set you down for a minute. Alright, I've cleared that. Now you got the rubber flex line down here. It's hanging up. You got to reach in there and push that over. Rubber flex line is clear. We're going to angle it just right like that. We're going to come up, keep coming up until we clear. Now we're going to let the fuel drain a little bit, and we're going to lean it this way forward. We're going to lean it forward and then lift it up on an angle so we don't damage the float level arm on the pump. It pumps out. You can see the damaged parts on the rim here where it was stuck in there too tight. I had to pry on it to get it out before. We can also see where the pickup tube has been damaged. I did a temporary repair on it. The filter sock is here. That's going to bend a little bit and flex when you bring it out, but that's like totally flexible. It's not going to hurt anything if it flexes when it comes out. The seal, there's a seal in there you should change. You don't have to, but they gave me a new one with the new pump, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. The seal sits into a little hole right around the fuel tank here. We're going to clean out the hole where the seal sets into and make sure there's no dirt or debris in it, and around the little ring clips that hold the retainer ring in place. Not you can see too good, but the groove has been cleaned out. The new seal has been laid in place. It's like a giant rubber O-ring. Alright, now we're going to install the new pump. What you want to do is you're going to keep the tubes facing the driver's side. So it's going to face you as you're putting this in. You're going to swing it this way so that there's our float arm for the fuel gauge. That's going to go in first and swing forward, and then you're going to push it right down. And I say this fuel pickup filter here that we're looking at is going to just flex upwards. It'll go up and down. It goes up and down, no problem. We're going to drop that right in the tank. We're going to keep an eye on this flex hose here on the side to make sure we don't accidentally cut that putting it back in. We might have to push it over with our finger as we drop it into place. And then as we set it down in all the way, we make sure that the lock rings, or the lock tabs, positioning tabs, we make sure that, as we set it down into place, we make sure that the positioning tabs underneath this lip drop into those little grooves that are cut in the tank right there. And then there's another one back there. That makes sure the pump assembly is facing the correct way. Alright, it's back in place. It's back in place. The lock ring is secure. Now we're going to reattach our vapor line. Switch that one over. Reattach our vapor line controller here. Put that into place. And then our fuel pump connection here. Like so. And squeeze so it clicks and locks into place. And that's going to tuck down under there like that. And now we need to install the fuel lines. They come with protective covers to keep dirt from getting in it. So we're going to pull the protective covers off. And they're going to line right up and slide on. You just take it, slide it all the way in, and then push down on the lock clip. Same thing on the other side here. We're going to make it, push it all the way on. Wiggle it a little, make sure it's on securely. And then snap down on it, give it a little pull, make sure it can't come off. And we are good to go. Tuck all that stuff back in, and then we're going to pull that grommet back through here and set it in place. But first, before we put it all back together, we're going to fire it up and test it, make sure it works. Always a good idea to final test something before you call it done. Alright, this fuel pump replacement project is finished. Less than a half hour from start to finish. Honestly, I've done it quite a few times. I think I've done it on the Escapes now probably 4 times. And, you know, once you've done it a few times, you get better at it. But still, first time doing it shouldn't take you more than an hour unless you have trouble getting the retainer ring off. And even then, you know, it's not that bad. Yeah, the only other thing you might have to buy is, if you mess it up, you might have to buy a retainer ring. Sometimes they get weak and rusty and they break when you're trying to get them off. I got lucky, this one came off okay. The retainer ring's about $24, I think, if you buy it online. Sometimes you can go to a scrapyard and pick one up for a couple bucks. But here's all the tools I used right here. A Phillips screwdriver, 2 different straight screwdrivers, and a pair of pliers that also doubled as a tapping hammer. Pretty easy stuff. So if your auto mechanic tells you you need a fuel pump and it's going to be $450, you can say, I can do that myself. And you can. Pretty darn easy to do yourself, save some money and feel good about it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Check out my other videos for useful tips, tricks, and hacks when it comes to auto repair. And we've got some abandoned places, Michigan history, all kinds of cool stuff here in Michigan. And with me and Doug doing our thing on YouTube.